Now at 9, fire crews battle a ground fire in Joplin. Plus, new restrictions announced on the gender-affirming care in Missouri. We'll break it down. And President Biden speaks about an alleged document leak regarding military information.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Jenkins. Some severe weather made its way into the 4 states today. We'll head straight to meteorologist Sam Lane for the first look at weather.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, we had a lot of severe weather today developing, mainly on the Missouri side. They blew up right basically along the Kansas-Missouri border, became rapidly severe, producing large hail, 3 and 4 inch in diameter in some places. But now all that nasty weather has moved off towards the east, affecting St. Louis right now with some flash flood warnings and severe weather there. Also down into the Boot Heel of Missouri. Tornado watches are in effect for western parts of Tennessee and parts of Illinois, but that is moving away from us. Now we have just a few showers starting to move in from the west, and it's a cool shower as well. Looking down the lane, we're going to see some cooler weather for your Sunday, and we're also going to see some showers later on Monday, maybe some thunderstorms on Thursday, and of course an unsettled week next week. And of course I'll have all the details and spell all that for you as we look into the forecast a little bit later. Amber?
Shortly after 10 this morning, authorities responded to reports of smoke in a wooded area south of Royal Heights in Joplin. About 8 to 10 acres of ground cover were on fire. No live trees were caught in the fire. Authorities say it was most likely began at a campfire in the woods, but it's not confirmed. The fire was under control in about 45 minutes. No structures were damaged and nobody was injured. Missouri's Attorney General announced new restrictions on gender-affirming care for adults in addition to minors. It's a move believed to be the first nationally and has advocacy groups threatening to sue. Attorney General Andrew Bailey announced plans to restrict health care for transgender people weeks ago. The rule, which includes a required 18 months of therapy before receiving gender-affirming health care, is set to take effect April 27th and expire next February. Joplin celebrates 150 years by playing some baseball. Varsity baseball teams from Galena, Columbus, Joplin, and Pittsburgh played against each other at the historic Joe Becker Field in Joplin, Missouri. Between games, vintage baseball teams dressed up in uniforms from the 1960s and followed the rules that were set back then.
First thing you might notice is we do not use any gloves. How about that, all right? Good job, guys.
KOAM's Kerry Wharton was at the game. She'll have more of the rules of the vintage baseball later in the show. Pitt State today hosted its Kansas Porgar Partners meeting for the public. The annual meeting provides students and community members the opportunity to learn about the longtime partnership with Kansas and Paraguay. It also lets residents enjoy a performance by Paraguayan musicians who also are Pitt State alumni.
We are an organization made out of volunteers from all across Kansas, engaged in people-to-people exchanges. That means we welcome and host individuals that come from Paraguay into Kansas, and we also encourage Kansans to go to Paraguay.
People at the event also got to hear from the Paraguayan embassy official. Experts say the 21-year-old suspect, believed to be behind a massive leak of classified documents, has harmed the national security of the United States by allegedly doing so. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has the reaction from Washington.
President Biden spoke about the leak before leaving Ireland. He did not appear too concerned.
There's no way to predict how long an investigation will take, but I don't think it's going to take very long. I think we're getting to the bottom of it quicker than I think.
Now, more of Teixeira's leaks of highly classified top-secret information have been discovered. The Washington Post reporting Taiwan is unlikely to stop a Chinese invasion, not only because of its missile superiority, but also China's use of civilian transport ships for military purposes, which have eroded U.S. spy agencies' ability to detect a pending invasion. It might be too much for American attack submarines to sink. The Post also reporting U.S. intelligence agencies were aware of up to 4 additional Chinese spy balloons, in addition to that 4,000-pound Chinese spy craft that made a week-long odyssey across the United States before being shot down in early February, including over a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group, likely Nimitz in the Western Pacific, another crash in the South China Sea. Over 1 million Americans possess a top-secret clearance. Officials tell Fox the Pentagon is looking at how many, in addition to the leaker, had access to the military's Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communications System, better known by its acronym JWICS, and how that information is secured. Lawmakers from both parties are fired up over this leak of closely guarded secrets.
Too many people have access to this information. This was, again, very embarrassing for the United States, and also it wasn't helpful to our allies around the world, so we need to put a stop to it.
I believe the Pentagon is going to be on the hot seat in Congress. They're going to have to answer to how this breakdown occurred.
Congress is back in session next week. Teixeira has his next court appearance Wednesday. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Allergy season is here. What are some Southwest Missouri professionals offer as advice to battle your symptoms? As most of us know all too well, allergy season is in full swing. Liam Garty spoke to pharmacists and allergists about what you can do to feel better fast.
Now, like many of us at this time of the year, we are feeling the effects of spring, and you may think your over-the-counter allergy medicines like Allegra or Flonase aren't working. Well, pharmacists tell me you may just have to switch brands and give it a few days.
You ever get the feeling you just want to cut your head off? Because your nose is stuffed up?
Feels kind of like you're almost being smothered.
The weather has taken a turn here in the Ozarks. Pollen is leaving its mark.
I think it's a really bad year right now.
The runny nose, the stuffy nose, and it's lingered.
Medical professionals at Mercy and Cox Health say if your allergy medicine isn't doing the trick, it may be time for a change.
You may develop a tolerance where you're no longer able to tolerate that. So it may be time to switch it up.
The one generic medicine that you've been using for the past 5 years may just not be working anymore because your allergies are worse.
And people in the Ozarks are feeling it.
You just feel like your head is clogged and everything's not okay.
I hope they don't get too bad.
Pharmacists say if you are ever outside doing yard work, when you come inside, take a shower. At the very least, don't forget to wash your face. They say the shorter winters and longer growing seasons make our allergies worse. Ask the pros if you have problems.
You always want to check with the pharmacist to treating something if it's just quick and easy.
You might need to see a physician. You might need a little bit more help than just what you can find over the counter.
Medical professionals say if your allergies are getting really bad, or if you're tired of taking pills, talk to your doctor and consider getting allergy shots or droplets. A study shows a new test is 88% effective in detecting Parkinson's disease. It works by looking for a misfolded protein indicative of the disease. That's significant because right now there are no approved tests for Parkinson's. Physicians can only diagnose the disease clinically by observing symptoms. The hope is if it can be diagnosed sooner, researchers will be able to develop new therapies that might be able to fight it better. Sam Lane is next with a complete look at the forecast. And a little bit later, we'll have a spring season here. You may be noticing some federal cats. What you can do if they appear in your area.
Well, folks, we had a stormy Saturday across the 4 states. Started out spring-like this morning, then the storms developed, and then it's now turned more winter-like out there. Right now, let's take a look at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Casino Cam as we go through the afternoon. And you can see those showers and thunderstorms developing down in the Seneca area. And then they moved off towards the east, and then we were left with these gray skies and colder temperatures across the area. And that cold wind is certainly being felt out there. Allergies, pretty bad today, 10.3 out of 12, and tomorrow's going to be worse at 11.2. We really need a good soaking rain to wash all of this pollen out of the atmosphere, but until then, we're going to be dealing with the allergies. Radar right now is clear in the immediate metro area, but off towards the west, we have some more showers developing in Chautauqua and Elk counties, also now moving over into Fredonia and Independence, Montgomery County, and that's moving towards the east. So we'll see those sprinkles and rainfall as we head into the overnight hours. Some places picked up over an inch of rainfall just south of Pittsburgh, 1.2 inches indicated by radar, a little bit heavier up towards Stockton, where they really got some hail today on Stockton Lake. And some areas didn't receive any precipitation at all, but we definitely need to see more, especially in southeastern Kansas, as the drought continues. What we did have a lot of today was hail. And you can see that the storms were near Pittsburgh, moved on up towards Stockton. Then we had another storm that moved over from Newton County over towards Monette. And then several storms moved out of Benton County into Barry County, producing quite a bit of hail. And here's a little bit closer in view. Some of the hail in this location in the Golden City area was around baseball size hail, so that can certainly do quite a bit of damage. And down in southern parts of our area in Barry County and in north central parts of Arkansas and northern parts of Benton County, lots of hail down there as well. Let's take a look at some of the pictures of the hail. Here's the tennis ball size hail. This was posted near Golden City, and this was by Brandon Kopic, a weather chaser down in that area. We also had other hailstones in and around 2 to 3 inches in diameter. This was just south of Newport, Missouri, and this was posted by Charles Peak. And then down in Benton County in northwest Arkansas, there was some hail down there too. This was retweeted by Debbie Miller. So fortunately, that is now moving out of here. Instead, we have colder air moving in from the north and west. Temperatures in the 40s right now, close to 50 in Miami as well as in Jay. Temperatures are about 25 to 30 degrees colder now than it was 24 hours ago. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at a northwest wind at 20 gusting to 30, and 48 degrees makes it feel like 41 out there, so more winter-like feeling. In Pittsburgh, it's 46 degrees, feels like 41 because of that northwest wind at 13. Temperatures tonight, they're going to be definitely colder with temperatures in the 30s up to the north and west, 40s to the south and east. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy skies with highs getting into the lower 60s if we're lucky. If the clouds hang in, it'll be staying in the 50s. Then tomorrow night, lows in the 30s once again across the area. And then Monday afternoon, temperatures rebounding into the lower 70s. And then as we go into Tuesday morning, a little bit milder with lows in the mid 50s. All right, let's take a look at the next 7 days. You can see the sun comes back again tomorrow, but definitely cooler, 60, and then Monday, 71. Showers on Tuesday morning, but a better chance, I think, of storms on Thursday and Friday. Next weekend looks pretty good, and then more storms early next week. So a little bit of a roller coaster, but that's springtime here in the 4 states.
Wow, the size of those hail in the photos is just...
Yeah, broke a lot of windshields and did some damage to a lot of cars today. Yep.
I'm sure of it. Thank you, Sam. Springtime is here, and that can mean a surge in the feral cat population. If you have feral cats in your neighborhood, try to catch them and get them spayed or neutered. You can contact the local humane society or other resources or shelters to get a cat trap. Spaying or neutering prevents feral cats from having more kittens and then those kittens having later kittens. It also cuts down on the health issues and cat fights.
And well, I mean, feral cats deserve love and everything too. They don't ask for that life, you know, they don't pick it. So if you've got feral cats in your area, your neighborhood, your community, behind a business that you work at, provide them shelter and food and just sort of watch over them, be good stewards, be kind, as we say.
To learn more about spaying and neutering, head on over to Joplin Humane Society's website. Coming up, a museum airport in Kansas City locked up. We'll tell you why and the plans to address it. A battle brewing at Kansas City's downtown airport is starting to come to a head. The Airline History Museum Board of Directors is now locked out of their hangar. Alan Schultz examines the struggle between the museum's board and the landlord.
They have had a couple of small victories.
Hangar 9 at the downtown airport has been the home of the Airline History Museum for more than 2 decades. Now it sits locked up and the museum board of directors locked out.
We're not sure exactly why they want us out other than for business purposes.
The museum says in 2005 the city granted it rent-free occupancy to host STEM-like programs, but Signature Flight Support, the landlord, says the museum owes back rent, and recently a judge agreed, locking out those on the board and locking in more than $2 million worth of aviation.
So we're trying to figure out how they're billing us for something that we don't owe.
The hangar is the home of some of Kansas City's classic planes, including Harrison Ford's plane. The museum directors are concerned recent storms and damage to the building are hurting the planes inside.
We don't know the condition of the airplanes. We don't know about birds' nests.
John says the entire conflict is unfortunate. He says when you take a look at the brand new Amelia Earhart Museum in Atchison, he says Kansas City could have nearly the exact same thing right here.
And right now that's on hold.
Signature Flight Support was not available for comment. John says the museum's webpage has a sign-up sheet and is hoping to collect signatures on a petition to keep the museum in Hangar 9.
We're confident that in an appeals court we're going to win.
John Roper says if they lose the appeal, they'll have to move the museum. Most of the planes inside will have to be permanently dismantled and sold for scrap. Coming up, a North Carolina man barely escapes an encounter with a bear. A North Carolina man is still a little numb after he had a close encounter with a bear. He was relaxing on his lounge chair outside at home in Asheville on Tuesday when his motion detector alarm sounded off. He turned around and didn't see anything, but moments later, a bear was staring right at him in the face. The bear did not move towards him, and instead, it just ran off. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Still ahead, we'll have more on how baseball players went back in time with a change in Joplin. Joplin celebrates 150 years by playing baseball. Kerry Wharton was at the Diamond for all the action.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
I mean, I played baseball since I was 4 years old. I love it. I love the game. It's the fact that I'm still getting to play.
Legendary baseball players stood on the turf of Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin, Missouri. The varsity baseball teams of Galena, Joplin, Columbus, and Pittsburgh are now getting their chance to do the same.
The fact that these kids can step on the same turf that these guys did is remarkable.
Between the varsity games, Joe Becker Stadium went back in time when the Westerns Baseball Club of Topeka played the St. Louis Brown Stockings, with rules, bats, and uniforms from back in the 1860s.
Yeah, the rules are, first thing you might notice is we do not use any gloves. How about that, all right? Good job, guys.
Other rules include anything caught on one bounce is an out. You have to stop on first base no matter what, and the pitcher is a little closer and had to pitch underhanded.
And another thing is once fair, always fair. So meaning if you hit the ball, it has a lot of English on it, and it might go about 10 feet in front of the catcher and come screaming back past the catcher, it's still a fair ball since it was touched in fair territory first.
Good job, brother!
It's fun. So we all love baseball. We love history, so it's kind of a natural. And I said we're about 3 hours away, but when we heard that this is the same field that Mickey Mantle played on and Stan Musial played on, if you love baseball, how can you say no to that?
So whether it is 150 years ago or today, there is one thing that never changes, and that is a love for the game. In Joplin, Kerry Worthen, KOAM News.
Another event happened tonight to celebrate Joplin turning 150. Ragtime composer Percy Wrench performed in Taylor Performing Arts Center at the Missouri Southern. Joplin residents gathered this morning for family fun and to raise money for Hope Park. Once built, the park will be just 2 blocks north of Joe Becker Stadium off historic Route 66. The park will feature an interactive wall of dreams to showcase the kids' goals and aspirations while also recognizing the generosity of others.
We just want to bring community awareness and to get the community to help support us, because this is for the whole city. Once you get one area thriving, it brings your whole city together. And that's all we're looking to do, is bring all of the Joplin together.
Today's festival featured fun for the family, including games, blow-ups, food trucks, and more. Ottawa County Family Connections today hosted its Route 66 5K run and family fun walk. Races began at 8 a.m. and registration costs $30 per participant. Officials say with the OCFC says funds raised throughout the event benefits local kids, teens, and adults with special needs and their families. Other funds for the kids include a petting zoo, outdoor games, a story walk, and a lot more.
Route 66 5K for kids, and what today is, April is Autism Awareness Month, and so we kind of wanted to do something different and put on a 5K run and a family walk to bring awareness and do a small fundraiser in order to bring not only awareness, but we wanted to raise some funds so that we could bring in some more resources.
Food trucks and live music were also at the event. Sam Lane joins us.
Thank you very much. It's been a topsy-turvy day today. We started out with spring and now we're dealing with late winter, and here's why. A big powerful storm system diving into the southern plains, and look at this dry punch just punching right into the dry line, and that's what sparked the thunderstorms. Literally kaboom, exploded over our area. Now moving off towards the east. Now we're dealing with some colder air moving in from the north and west, and also some showers as the severe weather has now moved well off towards the east. Taking a little bit closer in view, you can see these showers in the Fredonia area, also down towards Independence, east of Howard, and also just east of Sedan. That's moving off towards the east, and we'll see those showers into the overnight hours. And a much cooler Sunday on tap for the area. Showers late Monday, thunderstorms on Thursday. Basically an unsettled week coming up, and I'll tell you all about that in the forecast in just a little bit.
One person is dead and 4 others were wounded following a shooting in Kansas City, Missouri last night. It happened at a gas station at 8:21 p.m. local time. Police say the person who died was an adult man and the 4 other victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police say one of the victims was a child under the age of 5. No word yet on what led to the shooting or the suspect name. A Missouri team is blaming social media for a stunt that landed him in the hospital. Ann Alford reports.
Watch the upper left part of your screen. A 13-year-old in an Ellisville neighborhood inflating a basketball when this happens.
What was that noise? It's a gunshot, a firework, almost like a bomb going off.
The basketball explodes with Melissa Kramer's son Max standing right over it.
And just like, boom.
He was rushed to the hospital where they found out his hand took the brunt of it. But he also scratched both corneas and had partial hearing loss.
At first I thought, oh my gosh, well, surely that was an accident.
But it was no accident. Max saw a viral challenge online that involves overinflating a basketball.
He had a video of some friends that had done something similar.
Max told me the social media feeds of teenagers are inundated with risky videos.
It's like everywhere. Like you'll see a lot of people just doing every challenge, like just trying to find new stuff to do.
And why? Why do they want to do it?
Content. It's like money, like trying to get new stuff.
Oh, they do it to get content so they'll get more followers.
Luckily, doctors say Max will fully heal. Mom hopes he's learned life is full of consequences.
He was very scared. I think he's still scared now about what could have happened and how this could have gone down.
Later, a popular beer maker releases a statement following controversy partnering with a transgender activist and influencer.
Well, folks, what a difference a few hours can make in the 4 states. This morning we started off with spring-like conditions, and the afternoon very warm as well, and then the cold front slammed through, and now we're back into a late winter situation. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, you can see mostly cloudy skies. Well, you can't see the clouds, but it's dark out there. But we're seeing the colder air starting to spill in from the north and west. I wish we had more rainfall because that would have helped with the allergy situation. As today we're 10.3 out of 12. Tomorrow 11.2, so it's going to get even worse tomorrow. So we need some rain to wash some of that out. We do have some rain on radar right now out towards the west in Yates Center down to Chanute, also Fredonia, Independence, just east of Sedan, and also Howard. That's all moving towards the east. What we did have a lot of today, and that was hail. And you can see several stripes of it here, starting near Pittsburgh, on over towards Lamar, and then over towards Stockton. Then we had another cell go up across southern Newton County. That moved up towards Monette. And then we had other cells from Benton County that moved up into southern Barry County. Here's a little bit closer in view. The hail in and around the Golden City area was around tennis ball size. So there was quite a bit of damage to windshields and vehicles in that area, and that continued up towards Stockton, where they also had large hail there at the marina. And then down in southern Missouri, we had quite a bit of hail as well in the eastern parts of McDonald County, and also a lot of hail in the Bentonville area of northwestern Arkansas. Here's some of the pictures of the hail near Newport, Missouri. This was posted by Charles Peak, and you can see up to 3 inches in diameter some of this hail as it fell there. And then as we take a look at the wall cloud that moved from northern Arkansas into southern Barry County earlier this evening, this was posted by Case and Mullins. So a lot of activity today. Fortunately, No confirmed tornadoes. There was a small brief touchdown maybe near Greenfield, but that's going to have to be verified. But one thing is for certain, we are seeing more winter-like conditions with temperatures in the 40s right now. And by morning, we're going to see temperatures in the 30s in some locations. In fact, we're about 25 degrees colder now than we were just 24 hours ago. Right now in Joplin, we're 47, but look at the wind, 20 gusting to 31, so it feels like 40 out there. Dew point is 38 and humidity at 71%. In Pittsburgh, 46 degrees, feels like 41 because of a northwest wind at 10, gusting to 21, and a 73% on the humidity. Here's the lows for tonight. 30s up towards the north and west, 40s everywhere else, including the Joplin area, so quite more like late winter. And then tomorrow we're going to see partly cloudy skies with highs in the 50s and 60s if we're lucky. If the clouds hold in, it's going to stay in the 50s tomorrow. Certainly a different change from today. Then as we go into Monday morning, lows in the 30s pretty much everywhere with light and variable winds. And then as we head into Monday afternoon, the sun comes back and the warm air comes back from the south and west, and we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 70s across the area. Then as we go into Tuesday morning, we're going to see lows in the 50s with maybe a few scattered showers here and there. Here's the next 7-day forecast. Tomorrow 60 and cooler, and then Monday 71 with increasing clouds, and then on Tuesday some showers maybe in the morning, a better chance of storms I think on Thursday and Friday, and then as we go into next weekend, cooler again but nice, and then more rain early part of next week. So a little bit of a roller coaster this week, but of course that's typical for the 4-state area.
I mean, that is true. It's not springtime unless you got severe weather.
That's right.
Thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, a busy weekend for Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern baseball. Plus, Southern Missouri is back on the football field. We'll have the breakdown of their next spring game.
Well, today was the first day that the Missouri Southern Lions football team hit the field in front of their fans in 2023. This year's spring game had a lot of high hopes and optimism of what we can expect to see from the Lions this fall. Starting things off with a 30-minute weather delay. After that, it's time to play some football. Lions come back onto the field, so here we go. Luke Sampson in at quarterback, and he has a beautiful Florida pass to Akeem Gilmore for a big gain. Day started out warm, but it got really chilly from there on out. Now, look at this hit by number 7 defensive back. Big collision. That's a big stop for Team Gold. Offense off to a slow start, but Dave Oplotnik is in at quarterback. He finds his tight end for the touchdown. First touchdown of the day. Next possession, Javion Mudlow will drive right into the end zone, and he gets on the board for a touchdown. Team Green tries to get back in it, but it's just not enough. Team Gold goes on to beat Team Green 70-47.
I like where we're at with our ones. We got a lot of work to do with our twos, and part of it is, you know, this going into year 3, all our twos are redshirt freshmen and sophomores, and so this is their first exposure to a lot of reps, and so we just got to continue to develop them and get them game ready.
The MIAA baseball season is heating up down the stretch. Both Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State are in the mix of finishing in first place in the MIAA this year, but only one can come out on top when it's all said and done. We start things out in Pittsburgh. Such a big series for Pitt State on their home field. Coming into the day, tied for first place in the MIAA and won last night's series opener. Today, Central Missouri evens things up. They win and defeat the Gorillas 9-5. But Cade Clemens had a nice day, going 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Jake Grauberger also homered in this game, going 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Gorillas have a chance to take over first place in the MIAA if they can beat Central Missouri tomorrow at noon for the series finale. Let's take a look in Joplin at Warner Turner Field. Lions hosting the Newman Jets. Top of the first inning. Deep fly ball to center field, but Drew Davis is there to make the catch. Sac fly makes it 4-0 Newman in the first inning. Lions do respond. Henry Kuziak hit it where they ain't. Drives this one up the middle into center field. Nate Miskowski scores. Southern on the board, down 4-1. Later in the inning, Ethan Clark, with 2 runners on, launches this ball deep to left field, and this ball game is tied. It's now 4-4. Still in the first, Matt Miller goes opposite the field, back at the wall, and goodbye. Tape measure shot for Miller. Lions take a 5-4 lead. Southern goes on to win the high-scoring battle over Newman 16-12. Lions take the series. Just like baseball, the Pitt State and Missouri Southern softball teams will be wrapping up their season shortly. It was another weekend for both the Lions and the Gorillas to make statement wins on their home fields. The Lions have been absolutely red hot as of late, coming into Saturday with a 12-game winning streak. Today they host Emporia State, and that streak has snapped. Lions lose game one of their doubleheader 6-5. Leighton Withers goes 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a double. Peggy Gray goes 1 for 3 with a solo home run. In game 2 of the doubleheader, Lions get right back in the win column. Missouri Southern didn't mess around. They run rule Emporia State 10-2 in 6 innings. Josie Topai goes 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Leighton Withers goes 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs, including a 2-run triple. Lions will be back home next weekend against Northwest Missouri State on Friday. Pittsburgh State on their home field for a doubleheader against Emporia State last night, and tonight they're back home taking on a chance to take down the number 20 ranked Washburn Incabods. In game 1 of their doubleheader, Pitt State loses 10-5. However, Heather Arnett was a bright spot for the Gorillas, going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. In game 2 of their doubleheader, Pitt State gets swept by Washburn, losing game 2 6-3. Paxton Hayes stays consistent for Pitt State, going 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and RBI. Gorillas will be back home next weekend against Missouri Western starting on Friday. That'll be it with sports. We'll be back after this.
Beer maker Anheuser-Busch is finally breaking the silence over the backlash from its partnership with a transgender activist and social media influencer. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has the story.
Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth saying in a statement that the company never intended to be involved in a discussion that divides people. He goes on to say in that statement, quote, "I care deeply about this country, this company, our brands, and our partners. I spend much of my time traveling across America, listening to and learning from our customers, distributors, and others. Moving forward, I will continue to work tirelessly to bring great beers to customers across our nation." Whitworth's statement follows backlash the company is receiving on social media for its marketing campaign featuring transgender activist and influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Mulvaney, who has millions of followers between Instagram and TikTok, said earlier this month that Anheuser-Busch sent her a pack of Bud Light with her face on it as part of an ad for a March Madness contest and to celebrate a full year of girlhood for Mulvaney. The partnership has angered a lot of customers, including the likes of Kid Rock, who released this video of himself shooting cases of Bud Light with an assault rifle, and others like country musician John Rich, who owns a bar in Nashville, say sales have dropped dramatically.
The sales on Bud Light are almost at 0%. I mean, it's unbelievable. We're sitting on cases and cases of that beer in the back, and you can't reorder it if nobody's going to buy it.
Now, prior to Bud Light's partnership with Mulvaney, the company's vice president of marketing said she wanted to make the brand more inclusive in an attempt to appeal to a much larger audience.
Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor, and it was really important that we had another approach.
Now, since the release of that campaign ad, Anheuser-Busch has lost billions of dollars in terms of market cap. Now, the company is setting the record straight, saying that the Bud Light cans that they sent to Mulvaney with her face on it were a gift, and that those specific cans are not for sale publicly. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Up next, spring season kicks off, and so does morel hunting in Arkansas. We'll check out how Arkansas became the hotspot for the fungi. Hellenis plants aren't the only ones blooming right now. A Pacific and sometimes valuable fungi is also blooming. Reporter Jose Carna shows us how Arkansas has become the hotspot for morel hunting.
About 41 years ago, when I lived here in Madison County, I found my first morels, and that put me on the journey of learning and picking edible mushrooms.
Jay Pitts is an Arkansas master naturalist, but when April comes around, he's a morel hunter.
They're real dependent on the rain, and once it starts getting hot and we don't have much rain, then the mushrooms can suffer after that.
The season sometimes lasts just 4 weeks, centered around April, which makes the hunt elusive and rewarding.
A lot of people describe it as the adult Easter egg hunt.
Pitts says Arkansas is home to 4 morel species.
The one everybody wants is the big yellows.
There are morels that can be toxic to humans, but luckily for the natural state, Pitt says they're found on the conifers of the north, leaving us free of any toxic false morels.
It's not easy, and they don't just grow everywhere. A lot of people have searched for years and never found one. So when they actually do find a morel, they're really, really tickled about it.
Now, if you're out hiking and looking for morels, you might want to watch your step. You might step on one of these little ones.
This is the very best kind of morel habitat you can find in Arkansas. This is a river valley floodplain.
As for finding morels, Pitt says the art is in finding the right trees.
The best ones are ash, sycamore, elm, cedar, and also wild cherry. They trade nutrients with the trees, and our hardwood trees give them sugars and stuff like that as a trade-off.
Described as having a nutty and meaty taste, the fungi does actually have a market. Pitt says right now they can go for $50 a pound.
Usually I've got way more people wanting to buy them than I have morels to go around.
Wow, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, love mushrooms. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. It's going to be much cooler tomorrow with a high of only 60, then some showers on Tuesday morning, more showers and storms on Thursday and Friday. And next weekend, I may have to bump those temperatures down, believe it or not. We could be into the 30s again by next weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see what pans out.
We'll see.
Well, it certainly was very cold at the Missouri Southern spring game after the day started out so warm, but head coach Atiba Bradley came up to me and we spoke, and he said, look out for that Missouri Southern defensive line this year, so it's something to keep your eye on.
That sounds great. Well, that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of the oldest gorillas in the world celebrating their 66th birthday. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us a part of your night.